video, so everyone's going to be familiar with that from the Control map pool last season.
I had a chat to both of their coaches, and one player that got mentioned a couple of times was Horthick. They were saying both of these teams, both very, very flexible, more so than any other team you'll see in Contenders, big claims. But for Horthick in particular, they said he is the one guy to watch because his flexibility is genuinely insane. Now, I don't really know if Bastion-level flexibility is what we're looking for here, Mozasa, but we are looking to see some Doomfist coming out because I fully expect at least one of these teams to bring it out at one stage or another. But let's talk a bit more about Oasis. Projectile, it's always the name of the game in University even, sorry. We saw it last time round, Wayfast can be picking that far up to kick things off. On the other side, though, we're going to see more of what we've gotten used to. It's all about those tanks.
Loving the tank play, and I remember doing a little bit of coverage of the Trials competition that we had earlier before we got into Contenders, and Brucean was one of these guys who stood out to me, and he had a large following, so clearly this guy has some star power to him in his gameplay. Let's see if it transitions into Contenders. He's going to be taking up the Diva responsibilities for OnePoint as we head on to the first clash.
Always this big first clash, a real showdown with that death pit in the middle, and Midna's just kind of going to find himself picked off completely in the middle and isolated there as the rest of the team forced to pull back.
And Wayfast going to get picked off by Brucean again, so that's a double kill for him already, picking off an isolated Midna, following it up as well. Horfit coming in with the shield bash onto Danid. That's probably why he seems so isolated.
It's one of those moments where as a caster you kind of have to go, yeah, let's just pretend that was normal, but it did look really suspect how he stood there and didn't even swing in response to like say, go away, like swatting flies, so disconnect coming through there, but unfortunate. May well lead to a map restart, but we'll find out in just a few seconds once we have an update on that.
I hope we get that update shortly as well. I don't want to have this game broken up too much. University looks like it's going in favor of OnePoint to begin with, but we could chalk that up to the disconnect, really.
I mean, come on, mate. It was a really intense fight. There's tons to analyse and talk about there. We can be here for the next half an hour talking about this, and I know you guys want to endure that, right?
Well, let's have a look at some of the other players then. Des touched on it quickly. I think it was Jaws who highlighted Danid as one of the players to watch. Let's see if he can pull out something amazing here. We're back into the game quickly. That's what I like to see. So, Danid, unfortunately, I mentioned him, and he's just been killed, so not a good start. Hopefully I won't jinx him any further.
We have all just thinking, you know what, these guys need a handicap, you guys start off with the point. We don't mind that, we'll even fake a DC to make it look real.
Well, here we go, we have Org going on the offensive against OnePoint. They were able to capture the point with their nice, solid start. A lot of healing coming out there from the Brigitte. Throwing up the armor pack already. Coalescence already accrued, and it's being sprayed down. They're going to give We have Org a nice little hosing. Force him back again. Malzaza showing Midna. He's the superior Reinhardt to kick things off. Frost coming in on that. Zarya takes out Danid again, who's now switched over to the Brigitte from that McCree. And look how quickly he's got his ult from that change.
Horthick had just popped his as well, so both getting them roughly around the same time. More for Horthick getting them at exactly the right time. But Malzaza, keep an eye on him now that he's got hold of that grab. The Shatter have been looking to drop it down as they go to charge into this point. Which you might see in just a second is the ult from Danid.
Well, there's a nice stun there to remove the shield. There comes the Shatter straight onto the floor. You can already see him swinging away. Midna leading the charge to take back this point, but we have Org. OnePoint have been dismantled in this instance, and at 56%, they're probably going to swap it over.
Well, it was Malzaza who I was talking about his big shadow as they pushed onto the point. No, it was Midna who found the opportunity where the shield wasn't in the way, got a huge shutdown, cleansed out the whole team, and it was so easy for We Have Holt to sweep in and clean things out. They're now the ones with 4 ultimates on side. On the other, there's about 3 about to come online, so it's not looking too bad for OnePoint, but they've got to fight it now. There's the grab.
Look at Wayfast. He was being very sneaky with that one for a set piece. Twirls gets a double kill onto Horthick and Scalar. Now the rest of We Have Org going to reinforce themselves. So a nice sneaky play there coming out to capitalize and get more percentage in favor of We Have Org.
It's one of those times where both playing 3-3, you know it's going to turn into the war of the ultimates here. Who's going to have more ultimates on for each fight? Who's going to use them best at the most opportune moment? Who's going to save the most for the following fight as well? It's still 58% to about 40 for OnePoint in favor. Here they come again for another pushback in, trying to recapture the point.
Huge shatter from Midna to knock them all down before they can even get through. Brucean doing his best to do a drive-by. Malzaza finds Danid in the chaos and the self-destruct. Going to separate the fight, give him a little bit of respite, and they're straight back into the clash. Malzaza and Brucean tanks doing a lot of work for OnePoint as they were able to get enough kills to flip it back in their favor.
This is probably the fastest, most frantic 3v3, well, 3-3 versus 3-3 fight I think I've ever seen coming through on Oasis. Both of these teams incredibly quick in terms of their execution. You see the stuns coming out of the Brigitas, always trying to bring those shields down. Combos so far have been fantastic. Can we just appreciate Midna for a second? Both of his shadows so far have caught at least 4 members of the enemy team. He's looking fantastic, but really, it's hard to say either team is particularly poor right now. That's just how close it is.
Here comes the rally to pump up the armor, clashing with the charges, and Horfik's going to find Jofi off the back of that. Taking out the Lucio, but 1Point still in control, 90%. Maybe one last push, but we have Orc, but it's going to be stagnated because they can't get way fast back to the point. Look at this aggressive positioning from 1Point. They really don't want to let him get behind. But when they were able to push up so far, they had a cheeky little Danid Doomfist to sneak in behind him. Overtime's ticking. He has to pop himself back up the hole. Does it just in time. Where are the reinforcements?
Big shatter again.
Huge shatter. Danid capitalized on Scaler. He's now behind 1Point. He's punching. He's uppercutting. Flame Strike comes in to kill Midna. Here comes the Tranquility to save everyone. Malzaza using that shatter, gets a Flame Strike kill, goes forward again. 12 from the side, they're not paying Danid enough attention, goes straight into the protected barrier. There's the smash, there's the knock-up. Where are the kills to follow up? He's charging it up, he's waiting for someone. They're smart enough to not drop into the pit. We have Org come back from the brink.
Literally a Doomfist saving the game. Danid bringing it out, getting a couple of kills, contesting the point in the dying seconds, which let his team come back. That's now 3 for 3 on amazing shatters from Midna, by the way. I'm keeping count.
As you should, he's been phenomenal so far. He's really been showing Malzaza what to do, but Danid, look at him, he's crouching, he's sneaking, he's waiting to get behind this team. He's been doing it. Even in a panic, he found a way to sneak in behind him. There he goes, straight onto the back line, behind the shield, with the knock-up. Where's the follow-up kill? He's got the Meteor Strike into the Graviton Surge. Sound Barrier's there to negate the damage, but they've got too much. Midna, Twals, and of course Danid going with the combination to capitalize off of way fast. They flipped it round, 95% and ticking. That team kill should clinch them this round.
2 top 10 accounts, by the way. We just say that and appreciate.
That's no longer allowed, Des. No longer allowed. You've got to have your cell phone connected.
Your SMS verification, boys. Get it on your accounts. Still, that was a crazy comeback coming out of them. Didn't expect it when we hit that 99% mark. Thought, well, that's the end of it now. They're going to find themselves getting beat out and pushed back. But Danid quite literally saves the game and turns it around for them. Not to take it away from the rest of his team, had Midna some great shatters. The sound barrier in the early fight really saved it for them from Jofi. And Twals had a couple of fantastic ultimates as well. We speak an awful lot about Giganti and saying how they have fantastic combinations in terms of removing Reinhardt's from Graviton Surges and then seeing the self-destruct come through. We saw exactly the same thing for We Have Org there. So really impressive play by both sides so far.
They're going to jump onto the second map. It's going to be Gardens on Oasis. We have Org already 1 round up. They can end it here and move on to map 2, assuming they have a similar performance to what they had, if not better than they had on University. Flame Strike comes out straight into the opposing Reinhardt. Zarya bubbles are on point for both of these teams. Now already, it looks like We Have Org have the positional advantage. They're pushing 1Point back and forcing them into an alcove. When will 1Point breach this line, start making their offensive moves? Malzaza going low. This might be the window. He gets stunned, but the healing is so good from 1Point. They keep him alive. Now Horvik taking out Midna. Frost sitting on 100 charge. He's about to shred through this enemy team. There's nothing you can do, Danid. You're isolated on an Brigitte, and a defense matrix can't stop a laser, so you're going to have to fly away. Jofi with a double boop onto Fat Malzaza. That could be big for We Have All to turn this around as the Graviton Surge pulls them together. The coalescences are holding them together. Self-destruct goes upside. It does not land and it does not kill, but the Earth Shatter from Midna and the Twals follow up with the self-destruct should give this over to We Have Org.
Crazy how back and forth these fights are turning, but it is just a cleanup for We Have Org now. Danid ended up on completely the wrong side of that fight, found himself behind the enemy team. They turned around and dealt with him, and then the fight continued. But We Have Org still managed to stay involved, still managed to keep themselves in contention, and eventually the point is theirs. They are rewarded for their diligence.
One of these days, Des, you're going to have to throw out the Legday special, the contestation, as Harry likes to say.
Contention, that's the one for me.
Contention, yeah, I'm same as you.
Short and
sometimes
sweet,
we
short
should
and
flex
sweet,
it up. Frost sitting on that Graviton Surge. Here comes the rally, keeping everyone armored up. There comes the surge. Here's the trigger. It's going to be pulled. But the rest of We Have Org are isolated into one fine position. Malzaza putting the shatter straight into a shield. Midna knows what that means. It means I'm going to charge you down.
Midna with another huge one.
Coalescence into Horvik. Danid following up. And Midna swings the hammer. They've only got to get rid of this remaining Diva. But Brucer knows what's up. He's going to jump off the edge of the map.
Really, really good stuff. And now Zasa there, a questionable Earth Shatter straight into a Reinhardt, who just in case his shield wasn't up, also had a Zarya bubble on him. So not the best, we'll say that much. Whereas for Midna, his was fantastic in terms of the return. Wayfast is about to get his Graviton Surge online. There's not really anything to combat with so far. Not that they need it, because sometimes the Reinhardt swinging his hammer away is more than enough to kill people inside a grab.
As long as Wayfast can maintain this shield, he's going to get those armor resistance buffs onto himself. So it's going to make him much harder to kill. Hopefully he can maintain that. There we go, fires the Graviton Surge, even through the defense matrix. He's cutting through the enemy team, and 12 beautifully comboed with the self-destruct. Yet again, we have Org are not letting OnePoint get any foothold on this map.
This is going to be one of the most bloodthirsty divas I think I've ever seen. Twals, every single time we see that self-destruct come out, he's catching him. Now they want to catch them on their return once again. 10% to go. They're just testing the waters. They know they're there, though, so they're going to rush out.
Capitalize on the panic here. They come emerging from the door. Midna, 90%. So close to getting that shatter, but it's been turned around by OnePoint. They've somehow capitalized on the play we have Org set up. Yofi getting a Soundwave kill onto Scalar, but the rest of the kill feed is going in favor of OnePoint. So nice plan, but maybe not executed to perfection, as OnePoint are about to get their first grasp on Gardens.
That secondary fire from Frost was the key difference there. Firing it in there, they got hit by it. He knew there was someone racing around the corner. That forced we have Holt to have to charge out and engage. Sadly, wasn't really on their terms, didn't work out for them. Although Mozasa's shatter once again wasn't the most significant, they still managed to win the fight and recap. But it's a long road ahead, Tridd. They're only on 15%, and they've got to catch up to We Have Orgs 99.
Malzasa and Midna both have Earth Shatters available. This is the mind games between the Reinhardt. There we go. Midna getting it down. Blocked this time by Malzasa. Still going to get the kill from Frost. He saw the charge and then threw out the counter shatter. Nice. He gets a charge of his own. Malzasa finally getting a one-up over Midna. Follows it up with a kill onto Darned. They're sitting in the Transcendence from Scalar, and they're going to push forward. OnePoint aggressing onto We Have Org beyond the point.
I love how at the start of this, we were all saying, super flexible teams, by the way, play almost everything. They can rotate roles. It's absolutely fantastic. All we've seen from both sides so far is the GOATS comp. But the thing is, they are both playing it so ridiculously well. You can understand why, but the question now maybe for OnePoint is, when do you choose to change around and try and match We Have Org? Yes, We Have Org currently aren't in control, but they are the ones in control of this map.
Frost has himself a Graviton Surge. This could be big. He fires it out. Not eaten by the defense matrix. Where's the cut down? Where is the damage? Who's coming in with it? Everyone's sustained. And it's big Transcendence to keep everyone alive. Wayfast gets a kill. Here comes the counter Graviton Surge. Transcendence keeping them alive. Self-destruct is there, blocked out by the shield. Frost and Wayfast, they're trading tanks as they go in at it with those high energy beams. Still no definitive advantage gained for either side. With a D-Mech and a kill onto the side of We Have Org. OnePoint are looking to keep hold of this point and force out the third round.
I think there were at least 10 ults used in that fight. OnePoint, every single member used it, and yes, Frost back on 60%. He's climbing all the way up, but on the other side, they were lacking the sound barrier from Jofi. That would have been the big win condition to keep them in that fight. Sadly, it wasn't to be. Now we've got to see if they can make use of it. It's the only ultimate online in this fight right now.
There you go, pumping it early, preemptively to go into the fight with the extra health. Danid gets the first kill onto Horfix, so they're missing one of their supports. This might be a difference maker for We Have Org without the sustain coming out from Brigitte. Midna, huge shatter, even gets the kill with the damage, and Wayfast follows up with a double kill onto the support. We Have Org at 99%. 99% overtime. They flip the point. Everyone's dead from OnePoint. Overtime's ticking down. We Have Org take Oasis.
They're called We Have Org. From what I remember, they don't actually have an Org.
Ironically,
quite apparently, they don't need the support of one, because they are playing incredibly well right now. And this is the kind of bloodfest I really wanted to see from this matchup between these two teams, is more of what we saw in Trials. That ended 3-2. This one was pretty decisive so far for the first start, but you definitely can't argue that OnePoint really put up a fight there. Maybe you'd argue Midna Shatters were the real defining factor through all of this, and Twals' self-destructs equally were fantastic. On the other side, though, Mozasa did equally have some fantastic Earth Shatters, so hopefully we see more of those come through, and OnePoint can really get into the groove on the next map.
It wasn't just that as well. I think we have to give a shout out to Wayfast Zarya. I think it was the superior in the head-to-head matchup against OnePoint. Very good Graviton Surges, but always seemed to be at high energy and able to pick off targets that he needed to do so. So huge credit to both tanks coming out from this lineup, but also the flexes. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to bring you map number 2 of We Have Org versus OnePoint. Welcome back to Overwatch Contenders Europe. We're about to jump into Game 2 between We Have Org and One.PoinT. We Have Org leading the series 1-0 after successfully beating One.PoinT on Oasis. Next up on the menu, hybrid maps.
Oh boy. And what an explosive one it was last time. Icon mod between the series earlier on was fantastic. Might see more of the same here, at least I'm hoping so. And maybe we finally get to see things mix up a little bit as well, because so far both teams have run exclusively the 3-3 composition. Can't blame them. It's been explosive, it's been scrappy, but it's been fantastic to watch. Now we've got to see the real flexibility of these teams come into play, I feel.
Icon Vault, we're going back to there again. I love to see it. We saw a lot of Kings Row yesterday and to kick things off today, but Icon Vault, we're on the back end of that coming into week 1.
I mean, they'd have done us a favour by playing Kings Row, because, you know, England are playing right now as well. Would have worked out quite nicely, but...
No spoilers for people who want to watch it or catch the news
It's
later.
a spoiler for me. I can't watch. It's like, ah!
Yeah, you're working, Des. You're busy here watching some fantastic
But to
Overwatch.
be honest, I would rather be watching this right now, because this
would.
is the kind of series I would have killed myself if I missed, and I just cannot afford to miss such fantastic Overwatch, as you say. Really curious to see what they choose to bring out. Very open map, lots of fire we've seen historically. Might see more of the same.
Let's have a look at defensive teams, because they're going to pop out the gate first. So, Yofi, mid there. Well, Yofi actually changing his mind, going over to the Mercy on this one. Twals taking over Zarya responsibilities rather than the Diva we saw. But here we go, way fast. I've heard a lot of hype about this guy's Widowmaker. Maybe we're about to see if he lives up to it.
Absolutely. You can't forget on the other side as well. Again, Holt's flexibility, a big one. This time going from the Brigade, playing onto the Farah. Lots of interesting things to see. I'm curious what Mozasa rolls towards as well. It's more likely than not going to be a tank. We have Org.
In 30 seconds.
I'd love to know if Danny's going to stick by this. It's a bold claim. May pay off. Very, very good into tanks, the Doomfist these days, purely because the amount of shield he gets, it's quite hard to chase him down immediately afterwards. Unless you've got a Fire, in which case they are literally going to leap after you and bring you down.
We were talking about what Eagle Gaming were going to do on defense in the previous matchup while we were in between, while Jaws and Legday were casting the matchup. And I was actually giving you a lot of flack for playing Doomfist on Icon Vault point A defense, and Daned looks like he's going to roll with it as the clock ticks down to 0, and he's got no time to go and change it. So One.PoinT are going to go into the offensive with this. They're running 2-2-2, they're going to keep themselves with dive tanks. They're going to have Frost on Tracer, Morphic on the Farah. And already, he picks up the first kill on Cass.
Dive tank's good here to deal with Danny because you can chase him down, as they have done there. Brucean immediately pursued him and brought him down. He didn't even find a kill for himself. This is One.PoinT point to lose.
There we go, we saw why we don't pick that Doomfist on that point A defense. There's immediately removed from the map.
But we have seen it.
Goes round to take out mid there and way fast with no team around him. Doesn't have the opportunity to make an impact. Does get a tag on the Horvick, but he's fighting through the pocket of Mercy. He's not going to get that done unless it's a clean, damage-boosted headshot.
That's one of the cleanest, quickest first point takes I think I've ever seen. And we saw Shadow 2K playing earlier on the Farah, really doing work on that first point, and we've now seen exactly the same coming out of Horvick.
Danid is committing to this Doomfist, hasn't changed off it yet, still only got 40% ult, so it makes me think it's not about ult retention, it's more about he's confident he can play this into the matchup. Look how aggressive One.PoinT are being. They're taking it right to the gate, to the castle, when they have so much movement. They've left one person back on their lonesome to push that payload. 12, getting a kill onto Horvick, so with that window of opportunity open, we have Org want to flex their muscles and get control of the second point, whereas they've just lost control of it off the back of a fast point A take.
They are being pushed back, but we have Org switched over to match them with the dive tanks now too, so it's not just a one-sided affair anymore. They can match them. Lots of mobility coming through on the side of We Have Org. We have way fast. Obviously looking to try and play a little bit further back here, hopefully in safety. That Infrasight comes online, means they know exactly what's going on, looking for a few pickoffs, but One.PoinT on the go. Oh, on this one, commits to the Valkyrie.
Wayfast finally takes out Horvick. He's up nice and high. He's getting a little bit of attention here from Brucean, unable to complete the kill. So instead, he's going to go for Yofi instead. Takes out his support.
Oh.
Wayfast again onto Frost. Yet to see Dannon get on the board with this Doomfist, but he's creating a lot of pressure, drawing a lot of attention, and allowing Wayfast to pick up. Here he goes into the back line. 1v1 with the Zenyatta. Unfortunate placement of the terrain. Goes in with the Mingo Strike, cuts them off. Meanwhile, Horvick gets the barrage onto mid now, turns around onto Dannon, and finally meets his end with an orb of destruction from Cass.
Like you say, not really getting on the kill feed just yet. Maybe time to switch up a little bit, although realistically what I try and swap to here will be a tough call, because on the other side now you've got Horvick switching over to the over to Widow, sorry. They're aware that Wayfast is giving them some problems and they've got to match it.
That was very clean by Twals there, using the defense matrix to protect his pocket support of Yofi. The Valkyrie puts him in the air. Danid finally takes out Fat, so he gets one of the support kills. Yofi's going to bring Midnight back into the fray, and Horvick now onto the Widowmaker on the back line. Self-destruct goes into the air, straight down into Transcendence. No kills, unfortunately, as Maldaza removes Cass. Now Horfick having to deal with a monkey in his face. He's very alone at the moment. Danid with another support kill onto Scaler. He's finally doing his job, going very low. Can't survive that shot from Horfick on the Widowmaker though.
This is the problem with playing Doomfist. If you're playing into like a 3-3 kind of setup, it's not terrible, despite what you may think. With Brigitte, yes, you can get stunned up in there, but your abilities come back up pretty quick, and you can make a hasty escape. Problem is against comps like this is you'll be tagged on the way out, and you just cannot stay in these fights long enough to be able to walk away alive. Good
recall from Frosted to bring him back from the environmental death. Wayfast gets revenge onto Horfick for the headshot just sucking from him. The payload nearly at that second checkpoint, so they're at the other side of the bridge. And OnePoint diving in, looking to get Danid off the back line, but he still gets Scaler with an uppercut. Now he's still dancing, but Brucean will finish him off with those cannons.
It's a very all-in kind of hero, I suppose you could say. Once you're in the back, or villain in this case. Not much of a hero, is he, let's be honest.
Well, it depends which iteration of Doomfist you're talking about. He was a hero at one point, and then he had a decline into villainy. Malzaza being the hero for OnePoint. He's throwing those fists out with the Primal Rage, and Horfick tap, tap, tap onto the side of We Have Org. So they stalled out, and they've managed to get themselves into that second checkpoint to hit the final part of this map.
This is where we see teams start switching things up sometimes, but I imagine for the most part they'll stick by it. Wayfast has already done the transition across the Junkrat because they know indoors there's not much point playing the Widowmaker there, and Swol's equally now going to find himself over on the Zarya.
He can bounce those grenades around more than a pinball wizard, and if you know the acronym of We Have Org, then that will make sense to you. It's a very old reference, so I don't blame you.
I get it.
You get it.
I promise.
Yeah, there we go. Cool. Self-destruct going in, straight to the back line, shields up, so is the protective barrier. So that's a nice bit of charge over to Swolls on the defense. Danid gets a medium strike kill, but the micro missiles finish him off immediately afterwards. Now Zaza with his team diving into the back line as a Valkyrie Mercy he has to contend to. Is not going to fight over that healing. Instead, opts to retreat, might be changing it up here to better help his team.
Over onto the Hanzo for Danid now. They have 12s on side, so I'm not too surprised at opting for this. Again, you have that panic button combo if needed. The Grab Dragons can come out and keep you safe. OnePoint also doing some trades himself there. Got a bit excited because Horfick switched over to May, but then instantly went across onto the Junkrat, and Mozasa is now across onto the Rhine. So all the tanks coming out here on this indoor section. No need for the Winston, no need for the Diva. All about the Rhine and the Zarya.
Because of the late change of Malzaza, he's significantly behind Midna with the ult charge. Midna is sitting on that shatter already, and Malzaza still has to build his up. Fats got that Valkyrie to reinforce his team. Cast on the other side, of course, he can do the exact same thing with his Transcendence. The real difference maker is this tire. Wayfast is going to send it out, he's going to take it for a ride. Hopefully, he's going to find someone. He's struggling a little bit, holding it around the corner, going in now behind the window. Frost is going to be the victim, but I think he wanted more from that. Malzaza charging. He has to charge out. Takes Midna with him back into his team. Brucean following up with the kill feed. OnePoint starting to get control of this, and you can see We Have Org. They have to retreat around the corner as the payload moves into the final stretch.
Kind of bizarre that you get the pick off and go for the engage and then still find yourself losing members. So OnePoint are the ones who now get to go for the aggressive push. They've only got a few meters left to go, and here comes the combo.
Counter grab and grab. Shadow comes out. Frost with the dragons. They're going everywhere. The kills aren't quite well balanced until Frost takes out Wayfast. He goes for cast as well. Most of those kills were on the back of this guy on the Hanzo, and it's going to secure the completion for OnePoint.
Great round from both sides, and that last phase definitely very different to what we saw in the first two. We had a lot of Doomfist. We were blessed by the presence. Jaws was asking for it on the desk, and Danid said, prayers answered, my friend. On the inside point, though, things changed a little bit there. It was all about the Hanzo combos, exactly as we expected, and quite funnily, they got them online at the same time. OnePoint were just the ones to walk away the victor.
That Danid pickup was a bit of a monkey's paw, right? Jaws got his wish of having a Doomfist turn up. I wouldn't exactly say he popped off on it, though, so it kind of negated Sam's wish for them to pop off. So, you know, be careful what you wish for at the end of the day.
There's winners and losers in every trade-off, mate. That's all I can say. In this case, Sam was a loser.
Well, Sam's been pretty accurate with the predictions. She's been backing what the fans have been doing, and mostly it's been right. So I think this is just a blemish on a nearly flawless record so far.
An untainted record. Well, I don't think it'll be the last that we see of his Doomfist, but at least for now, might not see too much of it as it stands. OnePoint the ones going on defense, opting to go with the Farah and the Tracer and the Hanzo. Triple DPS on the first point, always a bold move, because we saw exactly what happened earlier on when Giganti faced off against Eagle. Quad Tank was the real roll through.
We have Org going to match him. Well, for now, they'll probably change that up. I can't imagine Yofi is going to stay on that Widowmaker. Danid, though, I can see him roll in the Genji and Wayfast as well. If he wants to run with the Tracer and commit to a more dive-oriented composition, I think We Have Org going to be happy to roll this.
Why not? Triple DPS is the in thing. And after seeing quad tank today and a lot of 3-3, I'm open to it.
Okay, let's focus on 1 point, because we have all getting a little bit experimental in the spawn room. Can't forgive them. They got plenty of time to make up their mind. But like I said, it's the triple DPS. Brusen taking over the Thara responsibilities. We've seen a lot of the flex tanks. We saw RCK in the last matchup take over it when they weren't able to put Shatter onto it because they needed them to play something like the Hanzo. And I think that's exactly what's happening here with 1 point.
Full dive coming out of We Have Org. That's very interesting. So nothing really too focused on being able to bring down Bruce, and you'll be looking at 12s to keep him at least in check. Otherwise, you've got to worry about Holt. There'll be a lot of dives into the backline here, and Mozasa, I've got to say, Winston isn't the best at stopping a whole team diving onto your backline, as you're seeing right now.
But they're diving straight into the back. 12's picking up the first blood onto Fat
Already.
He follows up with Scaler, but meanwhile, Frost has gone onto the backline and killed Cast, so they're missing one. Where's the follower? Malzaza's there. It's not about defending your backline, it's diving theirs and taking them out. Horfik does exactly that. Danid meets his maker and falls. At the moment, there is a little bit of progress going towards We Have Org. Brusen's isolated in the sky. It's easy for Wayfast to spray down with the double kill.
Horfik's doing work on this Hanzo again.
That was a headshot.
He caught Danid in midair, he got 2 kills that holds the point for them, gives their supports time to return and heal up the injured warriors that managed to hold the point for them. Great defense, a little bit scary because again there is nothing to stop this dive-based composition getting onto the supports and bringing them down unless you murder them incredibly quickly.
Third of the piece of the pie. 2-1 at the moment, diving onto the back line. Ross takes out Cast, he goes for Yofi as well. No supports on the side of We Have Org as Brusen takes out Darnid, and Frost again onto 12s. I think it was Jaws who highlighted this guy as someone who might pop off here, and he's doing just that on this Tracer.
What can I say? The whole team's got a few superstars on there, but we said this about both teams, is that coming up into here, in fact we said it yesterday as well, we said even in the newer teams and in the older teams, there will be a number of new players that we haven't seen a huge amount of yet, at least in Contenders. Of course, been in trials, we've seen the magic they've been working there. And as Sam mentioned, there's that whole big match impact in a sense that you've got to worry about. So far, really standing up though.
Somehow, Midna manages to jump over the Dragon Strike, but will fall to the Pulse Bomb from Frost. Horfik throwing out the Storm Arrow, trying to get a few more tags as 12 will fall off the map. This is going to be a reset for We Have Org. Can they catch any of the stragglers on the retreat? Throws out the Recon Arrow. They know where Danid is. Is he going to be able to time this, or is Danid going to play it safe? Instead, he goes up with the deflect. Nearly takes the ear off of Horfik, which is a fraction too far away.
So really struggling with this dive comp at the minute, but they're looking towards this combo coming online. They have 4 ultimates up there, and Wayfast will have his in no time at all. So they've got these options to play with, but Scaler has got the Transcendence.
Of course, he's got that in his pocket. Malzaza will also have that Primal Rage. Dropping it a little bit early. Midna jumps up. I think he might be forced that out, but damn it. Here comes the Dragon Blade. It's an isolated room with the support. Transcendence comes out. This is a perfect time for him to use it if he can just wait out the Transcendence. So the support, they tried to scatter, not scattered far enough. Nice Guardian Angel, but it's not enough. Oh, he's brought over to Horfik, but damn it, to pick up a tasty double. Now, what can they do with this opportunity? Malzaza gets the return kills with Horfik onto the backline support. 12 taking out Scaler, still very back and forth. One apiece on the point. It's Brusen going up against Darnid. He's getting reinforcements in. I think 1 point are finally going to falter on this point. Took him a little bit longer, but they started to get it moving.
Excellent cleanup there. Took a while, running it almost down to completely the wire, but they still managed to make it work. Now, expect more of the same, I think, in the second stage. We won't see too many changes. Maybe we see some Widow play gets brought out. Once we get inside, that's when you'll see the tanks come out once again. So for now, you expect more of the same from We Have Org. Danid already 60% towards that next blade. We've already seen what he can do with it. After Scaler forced that Transcendence out, it was Knights out there. They knew exactly what was coming.
It's just unfortunate that there was a little bit of a Guardian Angel that taxi Danid over to his next target. Brigitte going to try and keep him in check with the stun, but Cast is there with all the Discord. Danid's there with the blade to the back. It's not enough for Horfik to deal with it alone. Finds Malzaza as well. This isolated spot for Danid to operate into these confined spaces. He dives into the backline. That's a lot of targets. He's got a blade. He dashes out, goes back in, finds one with the assistance of his team. Goes for the second. Frost is another victim added to this murderous list.
What can I say? This guy's a bit of a machine on Genji. Shadow's always the guy you think of when you think of Genji players in Contenders, but now there is a new name on the list, and his name is Danid. The whole team looking pretty good, and we've always spoke about Dive in the past, saying in a perfect world, in Overwatch Utopia, full Dive is the perfect comp on both attack and defense. We have all, haven't them without flaws, but they are playing it incredibly well.
So there's the Transcendence. No Dragon Blade to follow up immediately afterwards. Self-destruct's getting traded. 12, he's exposed from his mech, so he'll be capitalized on by Brusen. Danid is behind enemy lines, trying to force them out. Way fast is going to get into the fray. He's got a pulse bomb available. Lots of confined targets. If he can avoid the defense matrix, he might go well with. There's a stick. The double kill onto the support. Skater and Horfig, you're out of here. As Wayfast goes back into the fight with Danid coming up. Nearly got that blade. The Goomba Stomp from Midno is good, as Fat will also be joining them in the spawn room. But Danid still trying to recover himself as he goes back into the fight, cuts through Bot and shuts down that aggression. Wayfast gets back on the map with a kill onto Malzaza, and Twirls will get the final one before they hit that chest.
3 minutes to go, a minute behind 1 point at the moment, so got to make this a nice quick take if they want to at least match them in time. Immediately, you see the changes coming out of 1 point. They've got the Zarya, they've got the Rhine, they're ready for this final fight, but we have Org. They're going to give this one last go with the comp they've got. Why would you sacrifice 3 huge ultimates in the Sound Barrier, the Blade, and of course, the Primal Rage?
Dan's been doing a lot of work with his Blade so far. One of the most efficient Genjis with the Blade we've seen in Contenders based off of Season 1. There's that efficiency in play with the 2 kills onto the support backline. Fat and Horfig, they're going to be victims. Midna taking out Frost, and Danid without the Blade still finishes off Malzaza. Home stretch for We Have Org.
There's still time here for 1 point to get back on and go for one final contest, though. It depends how long it's going to be. They've got to rush it now. That's going in. Just touched with 0.6 left.
Self-destruct was there to delay him a little bit further. They're getting all the kills. 1 point trying to get themselves out in a coordinated manner, but they were immediately cut down by We Have Org.
We go again, Tridd. We go again. 2 minutes left for each team, there or thereabouts. 1 minute 44, I think, for the one side. And of course, on the other for We Have Org, we just saw them end on 1 minute 58. So, very, very close. Unfortunately, we did see at the very start of this round, it took We Have Org a good 3.5 minutes to close things out. So there'll be question marks around how quickly they can do this, but that's for the next round. First and foremost, we get to see 1 point attack.
Of course, they have the shorter of the time bank, so that's exactly how it works in Overwatch. We Have Org showing off their composition earlier as they have to go and get themselves set up. Danid, yet again, going for the Doomfist. Will he have more impact on this point A defense than he did last round? I certainly hope so, because if he does, and he pops off, and he dictates the flow of the game on point A, we could shut down 1 point before they even get the payload in motion.
Doomfist has a great ability to really slow attacks down, because you know that if the support is even lagging slightly behind, he's going to be in the back line, he's going to murder your support, and he's going to get out of there before you even knew he was a thing. Tilts a lot of people, supports especially, you got to say. So hopefully at least him being there, the presence is enough to worry about, but like you say, his first point last time round wasn't the best. On the second, he did start picking off a few supports and slowing things down a bit, but it wasn't enough to at least prevent them getting to the very, very end. Got to see more out of him this time round.
Well, he floats like a butterfly, stings like a cybernetically enhanced bee, which just thinking about is absolutely terrifying. I was having nightmares of Aang, now I'm going to be having nightmares of robotic bees. So thank you to me for making that happen. Horfig goes up in the air with damage boost, of course. Taking a few shots already. No one to kill. Here comes the commit from Danid. Immediately gets that protective barrier, so they're playing a little bit more with Danid to enable him to do it. Doesn't matter though, Frost is able to pick him off. So I think we have our answer to the Danid question, or the Danid conundrum on that Doomfist. Horfig still getting behind the tanks, forcing them to take cover and give up so much ground for the foot troopers at 1 point to take over. They're on the point already. They've got themselves a third. They've got themselves a half. They're about to hit 2/3, and We Have Org are trying to regroup to go together. Midna gonna step on the point. He's already getting contested. Boots back by an aggressive Diva, but I'm pretty sure he's got a pocket as Frost comes round. Takes him out. 12's going to trade him for Scalar as Frost is getting onto back row supports. Nice trade there. Cast for Frost. They take each other out with their own abilities. Gruesome finds 12. Horfig still uncontested in the skies. Danid goes again through a fight, but he's not able to do anything about Horfig in the sky, so he's going to have to back off and retreat with the rest of his team as our 1 point.
But he did manage to get Bruce out of the map with that punch and last few shots. So again, that's the crucial slowdown they were looking for, because now 1 point have been stalled. They've only got 30 seconds remaining, Tridd, so not the greatest amount of time. You're looking to Horfig here. He's got the ultimate about to come online. They've even got Scalar's Transcendence, so there are enough tools here to make a push. But then you've got to look at the other side and see that equally, they have their own Transcendence, and the Infrasight is online. Valkyrie, sorry.
Well, you close. You nearly got it.
It's a support ult, mate. It does things, it heals people. What more you got to say?
The correct name of the support ult, maybe? Here's the barrage ready from Horfig. Goes down low. Nothing. No protective barrier from Swole. Trying to find the second tank. Frost is there with his own explosive. Danid gets Scalar as Malzaza equalizes with the lack of Zenyatta by taking him out. So close to getting this point A. They got 3 bodies on the point. We have Org scrambling to find something to do with Wayfast. Switches over to the Widowmaker, but Malzaza already in his face.
Yeah, unfortunately for Danid, no great success this time around, but does manage to bring down Mozaza on his well with a cheeky headshot from that fist of his. Now going to have to back away onto the second point defense, but it is pure overtime from here on out. 1Point cannot step off that car.
It's going to be very difficult for them moving into the second phase because really everything is on them to get as far as humanly possible, because if they fail to do that full hold on the point A defense, their progress here will matter and make the difference. Malzaza jumping into the back line. Fat popping the Valkyrie to support him.
There we go.
The Transcendence, and it's matched by Scalar on the point. They're really trying to make sure nothing gets moved by playing aggressive. Frost jumps in, gets himself a nice little slap but no kill. They stepped off of the point, and it's going to end just shy, or just after, that game.
Give me a C.
C.
9.
9?
A.
Was that a C9, Des?
Yeah, it basically was.
Okay.
They were still around and alive is the biggest concern for me around that point, but Scalar had a really tough decision there. If he didn't pop the Transcendence, he was guaranteed to get one comboed by Danid. That would have meant no Transcendence for the final fight, so it was kind of a, do I commit it now and just see how long we can hold the point for, or do I not bother and hope that the team can hold in time? Answer, I think, was the right one, trying to use it there, trying to hold the point out. Sadly, it just wasn't quite to be. Now, we have Org get their opportunity. They have 2 minutes to make this work, and to be honest with you, haven't got to push it all that far. It's only just through the gate. That isn't really a hard push to do.
It's all about the full hold here for 1Point. I think if they get that payload in motion, it becomes increasingly difficult for 1Point to do anything to stop them from reaching the benchmark that they themselves set on their offensive run. So all about this point A defense for 1Point.
Interested to see what they choose to bring out, and equally what we have Org choose to attack with. We saw the full dive last time as their go-to response. Farah gave them a bit of trouble. Horthick is looking fantastic, and again, we spoke about him at the very start. One of the big flexible players that seems to be able to play seemingly anything, alongside Frost, who also has been having some great games. Very hard to separate these two teams, Tridd. You can understand why it was 3-2 last time they played. That
could be a similar outcome. The match isn't over for Mach 2. It does look like we have a strong chance of taking this one and going 2-0 at the half. But then again, 1Point, they've only got to fight away for 2 minutes already. Danid mixing it up with the McCree, taking some pop shots over at the opposing team. Horthick going to be the person feeling the burn of that. He's got the Pocket Mercy to sustain him through it. Still going to be finding those rockets. Finds Yofi in the back line with a precise rocket to the head, and immediately Frost going to follow up onto Cast, but Danid trying to negate the flow and really equalize this kill feed, but Frost isn't having any of it.
Falls straight off the edge there. Go for the reset, guys. 1 minute 20 left on the clock. Danid there was playing under the bridge the whole time, which did mean that he could threaten the supports, but there was no real way of him being able to threaten Horthick on this Farah, who was having a field day up on high, raining rockets down to 2 or 3 people, made it look far too easy.
86% going on to 90 for Frost. He's about to have a pulse bomb. And if this team clusters, if we have all go in as a unit and aren't fast on the defense matrix and the separation, it could spell devastation for them. Horthick's about to join with his own explosive ult. Barrage is now online. Frost finds Danid. That opens up Horthick so much to come in here with the barrage. He might not even need to use it. Midna going to take out Malzaza. A D-Mech from Brusen as Frost goes into the face of the tank, and he's not going to shy away from it. Barrage raining down from above. Midna, the only person to get wet because he did not pack his umbrella this time around, as Frost will go on the hunt for all the retreating We Have Org members. 30 seconds remaining.
Somehow, Danid, I have the feeling it's not going to work out the same way it did in Oasis, buddy. You're going to have to change off here, I think, because you're in the wrong place. You're behind the whole team, and Horthick is going to hunt you down and make sure you are no longer able to be a part of this push. Going to stick by it, though. They have 15 seconds. This is where a Doofus can come in useful, because, of course, he's incredibly quick at getting back to the action.
He's going to switch over to the Brigitte, though. I think they want a little bit more resistance. A bit late. Maybe go into it. He might not be able to get there in time, because already Cast has been taken off the map by Horthick. He's still above. No one's been able to deal with him. The Graviton Surge is pulling them together. That's an isolated tank, but he had to touch the force the overtime. He's got a 10-player kill streak. He's an absolute madman. Equilibrium, sorry. It's going to be there. Self-destruct. Finally, the answer to deal with him. But Brusen's going to do the exact same for Danid. He only just got back to the point, and he's already back in the spawn room. That's so unfortunate for him. Way fast on this Zarya. Still being strong, taking out Fat, but Brusen's just a little bit too much for him. Sound barrier from Yofi. Going to try and keep everyone alive as long as possible, as Cast will fall as he's taken over the Doomfist responsibilities just to get back to the point. Overtime, it's still hectic. They're still touching the point. They're going to take out the last remaining player, and 1Point equalize the series going into the half.
Now we've got a series on our hand, and this delivered everything I expected. We said that the first map, lots of 3-3. Maybe on the second map we see things get mixed up, and that is exactly what we saw. We even got to see the fabled Doomfist. This is the action I look for. This is the kind of stuff you want from two Trials teams, and I'm really excited to see what happens on map 3. Got to say, Horthick, there's a lot of talk on that first map around the DPS, and we have Org. On the other side, though, this guy was a hidden treasure on that Pharah. Fantastic play.
Surprising lack of response just for Horthick, so I feel he's given a lot of freedom on that second attempt. We're going to go to a quick break. When we come back, our analysts are going to break down the series so far.